Hello and welcome to Ratefinity video tutorials. Today we are going to enumerate the properties of a provider deck. You can access the properties of a provider deck by clicking on the edit icon of a deck. The properties are divided into groups. Let's go through each of them. General. Here you will find the code of the deck, the name of the deck, the type of deck it is, the provider it belongs to, the format. We will talk more about formats in another video, and finally the mail and alerts. First, the threshold of how much a price must change to trigger an alert. This is a percentage. We will give you more details in another video. Next is the email address to which Ratefinity will send alerts and parse file for this deck. Finally, input address. If you send an email with the right deck file attached, Ratefinity will create a new version of the deck and trigger the whole parsing process as if you have uploaded the deck directly. Dial codes. The properties here will let you manipulate the dial codes in the deck. First, let's see prefix to remove. Any prefix here will be removed from all the dial codes in the deck. Prefix to add. Any prefix here will be added to all dial codes in the deck. Separate dial codes can have a value of yes or no. If set to yes, if a row in your rate deck contains more than one dial code, it will be separated. Exact dial codes to remove. The dial codes in here will be removed from a deck, only if they appear exactly as listed here. Separate them via semicolon. Dial codes to remove. The dial codes that have the prefixes listed in here will be removed. Join country and area code. Set to yes if your deck has separate columns for country and area. NAMP. Here you will be able to change properties specific to the North American numbering plan region. Add 1 to NAMP regions. If set to yes, 1 will be added to all dial codes. Join NPA and XS columns. If set to yes, it will add both to those columns into the dial code. Use indeterminate price. If your deck does not have an indeterminate price column, you can select which column you can get the price from. You can select inter, intra, or ignore. Use the highest price for indeterminate price. Again, if you don't have such a column, you can select yes, so Ratefinity will use the highest price for inter or intra. Also, you can select to use a default value. You can set that value here, and if you want to use it, click yes. And finally, you can opt to filter all toll-free numbers. Quality. Let's you change call quality settings. First, we'll have the default value for the CLI setting of each route. If set to yes, the default value will be yes. The same thing for direct. Parse errors. The properties here will let you control what happens if an error is found on any of the rows of your rate deck. Ignore bad routes. If set to yes, Ratefinity will ignore rows on your deck that have errors, such as repeated dial codes, non-numeric dial codes, or missing prices. Take highest price. If set to yes, Ratefinity will take the highest price in case there are two rows with the same dial code, but with different prices. Error on repeated. This will override the last two settings and will make the parsing process fail in case an error is found. Include only if comments has value. A row in your deck will only be included if it has the string in this field in the comments column. Everything else will be ignored. Billing and increments. Here you can change the billing and increment properties of your deck. Fix international increments. If set to yes, Ratefinity will modify the billing increments of special zones such as Mexico 6060. Minimum increment. This contains the default value of that property. It will only be used if there is no column with that. The same thing for a sub increment. Next is the setup fee. This default value will only be used if there is no column containing the setup fee. Same thing as connection fee. Add percentage to price enter. If the value is greater than 0, a percentage of the value will be added in the parsed version of the file to the enter and price. Same thing to intra, and same thing to indeterminate price. And lastly, a percentage will be added to the connection fee in the same way as the last. Regions. With these settings, you can include or exclude regions. First, you can select several regions. To exclude, this means that all the regions in this list will not be included in the parsed file of your provider deck. Now, if you want to include only certain regions, you can select them here. You can select as many as you want. This will override all the previous settings. And finally, extra settings. First, we have the default value for the destination. This value will only be included if there is no column mapped for the destination in your deck. Same thing for comments. Thank you for watching and have a great day.